Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. Tonight's webinar, the topic is Affirmations for Self-Healing. It's based on the book by Swami Kriyananda, and the topic for this evening is service. So without further ado, I will start reading from the book here. Service is ennobling. It is a way of offering our human littleness into the great reality that is God. Service should not be given with the thought that one is serving people merely. It should be given with an inward consciousness to the Lord who resides in all creatures. When we serve others in this spirit, we find our own spirits becoming freed from egotism. Peace then fills us in the realization that there isn't anyone with whom we need compete. What joy to think that we belong to God. And so we'll say the affirmation right now. We'll do it 5 times together. And the first time, say it out loud. And say it with great vigor and great will. I will serve God through others. And by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. And now say in a normal voice, I will serve God through others. And by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. And now say in a whisper, I will serve God through others. And by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. And now mentally say this and try to take it deep into your subconscious mind. I will serve God through others. And by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. And now, again mentally, this time taking this affirmation deep into your superconscious mind. I will serve God through others. And by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. And this is a prayer that Swami Kriyananda wrote. All that I do, Lord, I do for love of Thee. Accept the flowers of my service to Thee as I place them on Thy altar of omnipresence. So again, welcome everyone. This is Brahmachari Vineet here, and my name is Brahmachari Jemal, and this webinar is coming to you from Kandala, Ananda, India, and we're very happy to be together with you this evening. And so I'll hand it over to Brahmachari Vineet, and he will begin speaking on the topic of service.
Thank you, Jemal. This is such a wonderful topic, service, and such a powerful affirmation. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the little ego has on me. And I was just thinking that all kinds of suffering comes from the ego and our hold with the ego, the attachment, this bundle of self-definitions. And by the service, the act of serving others, and not just others, serving God in them, we release that ego. We get freer and freer from that ego and embrace that vast consciousness, which is God. And it was amazing for me to just deeply think of those words which Swamiji wrote about the affirmation. is releasing the hold the ego has on me. And right now we are in such an interesting time of just difficult times in general. Many people are locked down. The world is not flowing as it used to flow, and we may have a tendency, and if not we, generally there can be a tendency to think, oh, now what about me, and how will this happen to me, what about my trip there, and what about this, and what about that, and I had these plans, I had those plans. And the tendency could be to focus on like my plans, my life, and my situation and my circumstances. But interestingly, Swami Kriyananda ji once wrote that when times are difficult, think in terms of what you can give to others. I'll repeat that. When there are hard times, basically, think in terms of what you can give to others. Now, that might sound a little impractical. Here, I'm trying to figure out my own life and think about others. Are we crazy? Think about others? But you will find, and I have found this over and over again, that the more I focus on myself, my problems, my situation, my circumstances, my suffering, and my difficulty, I'm just stuck in a cocoon, and just I'm here, stuck here, and I don't have any other point of reference. But the moment I start helping someone else, I see suddenly, oh, there are things beyond me, and there exist people beyond me, and I'm exaggerating a bit, but there can be sometimes when we are stuck with basically our difficulties, there can be a tendency to just contract and contract and contract. But the moment we turn that way out and try to help others and try to see how we can help others, that very moment our ego starts to expand. And it might seem like, wait a second, I'm here to get rid of the ego on the spiritual path. Why do I want to expand my ego? Well, we tend, by our service to others, expand our ego to the point where it reaches infinity, and we associate ourselves with everyone. And in other words, it is just not me, but I in everyone. And Swamiji beautifully says, in your service to others, think that you're serving God. And I like to think it that way, because sometimes when we are serving others, we might like to think that, hey, I gave you 2 hours of my service, and that's a debit in your name, and I tend to be having an accounting mind. So when is my credit due, and when will the interest be due? Because, when you pay something or when you deposit something, you get something back with interest. But no, we are giving this to God, and God will be the one who will be giving us back. And interestingly, Swamiji and Master, both of them said the channel is blessed by that which flows through it. And so basically, the more we serve others, the more we will be blessed. And it is not about, oh, how good. There's a story when Swamiji, when he was young, he did a good act, and he basically was telling his mother that, wasn't it kind of me and good of me? And his mother just said, no, this is what you should have done anyways. I have the story, not exact, but I have got, I think, the essence of it, that of course we have to serve. It's not like, oh, how wonderful I am that I'm serving others. Well, that is another trick the ego can play on us. What we are really trying to do is serve God in others. And again, the channel is blessed by that which flows through it. There is a story which happened during Paramahansa Yogananda ji's father's time. And basically, they were digging a lake or something, and they found 3 bodies underneath of yogis, and they were very much alive. And the king at that time, again, I might have got the facts here and there, but I'll try to get the essence right, is that the king, or the person in charge, got these yogis to come out into body consciousness, because they had gone very deep into meditation. They were dug in the ground for a very long time. And basically, they tried all kinds of harsh means to bring them to body consciousness. And finally, when they came out in body consciousness from their deep meditation, they were very angry and upset with the king, and they cursed him, that he and his family would basically be cursed for bringing him bringing them out in body consciousness, because they were just so close to attaining the God realization. And yes, the king did accrue the bad karma for that, but Yogananda ji said that Divine Mother wouldn't let them actually get to God consciousness, because they were wanting all that freedom for themselves. And in fact, he even said that you must free at least 6 people before you can yourself attain divine realization. Now, that seems tricky, but that is how God keeps his show going. And we are here as brothers and sisters, just helping each other. And how would it be possible for us to, have it all for ourselves without serving others? And just, in the prayer which Jamal read for us, Swamiji talks about, all that I do, Lord, I do for love of thee. Now, is it not interesting that when we love someone and that when we have this deep feeling for someone, the natural tendency is to give? When you have a child, when you have a beloved, the natural tendency is, oh, I want to do this for them, I want to do that for them. And the natural tendency is, of course, you want to give. And similarly, when we come from that love of God, the tendency is, yes, I want to give. And whom do I give? Well, we give to God in the various forms He exists in this universe, through our fellow human beings, through our friends, through our family, through our relatives. And there is enough we can give. Sometimes there can be a tendency, oh, everyone is, good where they are. There is no need to really, nobody really needs anything. Well, they do. And the more you tune in deeply to them, and especially in these times, if you think that there is nothing to give, just, look around. You will find many people whom you can give. If you know meditation, and if you know your friends who are having a difficult time, try to teach them a simple meditation technique. If you have relatives who might be feeling lonely because they might be stuck in a situation, call them, be in touch with them. If you have neighbors whom you have never connected with, well, it's high time to know who our neighbors are, and just build a connection with them. And what else? Well, just do whatever you can within your means to help people. There is no limitation for you to, in any way, or for any one of us to be thinking that, oh, I can't do this because I have this situation very difficult going on and I need to figure that out. Very interestingly, I have been working on a project and it has been taking so much of my time, and I had been trying to ignore anything else which comes my way. And as a result, not only I did not do other things, I also couldn't do what I was working on. And it was just becoming contractive and contractive. And I thought, here I am trying to serve because my project is to serve, but still I'm not going ahead. And then I finally thought, okay, let me try just, I have 5-10 minutes in my hand. Let me just try to connect with my old friends and try to reach out to them. Just send them a message. How much time does it take? Hey, how are you doing? How's lockdown going for you? Are you safe? Are you sound? And just in this process, a friend of mine wrote back, hey, can you teach me meditation? And I just had ended up scheduling a call and sharing a simple meditation technique which Yogananda ji taught. And I was still not sure that if it was the right thing to do or not. And at the end, I asked, have you heard of the book Autobiography of a Yogi? And this friend of mine said, oh, yeah, I've just started reading it. And I thought, wow, isn't that amazing that they read about Paramahansa Yogananda ji, and there is Paramahansa Yogananda ji basically delegating his disciple to share a meditation technique with their friends. So just be open and just see that, just look around and you will find that basically our life becomes sweeter when we start sharing it with others. And one last thing before I pass it on to Jamal is that it might seem like, oh, service is karma yoga and I'm more of a bhakti yoga type or whatever, or I'm a jnana yoga type or whatever. Well, what does Swamiji say over here? All that I do, Lord, I do for love of thee. What more bhakti could it be? And what more wise is it to serve others than to serve others by getting rid of our ego, than to do anything else? So even though it might seem karma yoga, it also includes bhakti and jnana yoga, I was thinking. So with that, let's listen to Brahmachari Jemal sharing on the topic of service.
Thank you, Vineet. That was very beautiful. Hello again, everyone. You know, what first comes to my mind is a chant, and some of the words to this chant by Paramahansa Yogananda are, take the dust off each one's feet, serving mother, where she sleeps. And now, let's face it, I need to read Autobiography of a Yogi again. But somewhere in there, Babaji is serving a sadhu. I can't remember whether he's washing his feet or cleaning his utensils or what. And someone else sees and is just so surprised because you would think, well, you're Babaji, everyone should be serving you. But I found people who serve others the most, that they're the most spiritual, that they are the most humble, they're the most kind. And when I look around me in this world, that's who I want to be. I want to be the most humble. I want to be the most kind. You know, I feel that it will give us the ability to see God in everyone if we serve everyone. And if we can really serve with that understanding that it's just God serving God, and we can just demolish the ego, because the ego wants to say, well, I'm more than this person, he should be serving me, or I'm less than that person, I should be serving him. But the real truth is that we are all one, and life becomes so beautiful when we all simply serve one another in that spirit. Of course, there has to be organization, and we just have to, I don't know, understand who's doing what in this world. We can't live in a world of confusion, and I understand all of that, but I'm talking more of an attitude. Um, and it's just this attitude that I see that works. And especially, of course, depending on, I don't know, these are hard times, but they're not. It's really just an attitude again and a state of mind. And today I was thinking, well, even if I get this darn disease and I die tomorrow, what of it? That I'm going to die anyways. We're all going to die. That's just period. We're going to die. Unless, okay, if you have it like that and you've perfected your spirituality like Babaji and you've conquered death, I'm all for it. And I don't think there's too many of us, though, that have achieved that level. And so if we haven't, we're going to leave this body. But then the next thought that came to me was, who's really in charge of when I leave this body? Am I really in charge? Am I really the ones making the decisions of, I'm going to do this thing perfectly or that? And of course, this gets into deep philosophy that I'm just not in the mood to get into tonight, of who is the doer and who's making these decisions and who is thinking. And of course, we have to behave responsibly and make the best decisions that we can. But when we are in tune with God, God will put the right thoughts into our mind for us to make the right decision. But so often we're not even asking God. We're not even thinking of God. We're just thinking that we alone are the doer and that we know what's right based on past experience. But that's what this whole game is, that it's ever changing. And past experience can help somewhat, but it never gives the exact correct answer every time. Only intuition gives the correct answer every time. And Paramahansa Yogananda said that intuition is never wrong. And that was such an interesting thing for me to think about. How could it be never wrong? Doesn't it make mistakes sometimes? But intuition, true intuition, is really being able to talk to God, to listen to God, to hear God's response. And of course, God himself is never wrong. Somehow speaks those two words, God himself, makes me think of Paramahansa Yogananda. And there was a story where someone was helping him cook. I think Master was doing the dish or the cooking, and someone was cleaning up behind him. And for some reason, Master just started making more and more dishes. I mean, he just was almost dreaming up ways to create even more pots and pans and more spoons to taste and everything. And this lady was just frantically washing these dishes until at some moment then she understood. I think in this one he said, it's been a good show, hasn't it? Maybe he didn't say those words in this particular story, but the point was the devotee understood that, and then he stopped making so many dishes. He just went back to a normal way of cooking. But once her attitude changed, and that she saw that Seva service is not about this frantic, I have to go, and go, and do more for God, and huff and puff and more for God. That when we go like that, God will just say, all right, and let us go off into, I burn myself out again land. But when we say, okay, I want to do everything I possibly can for God, for you, Guru, but this is in an internally balanced way, where that I know you also, God, want me to stay even-minded, stay cheerful, stay in tune. And because God wants us to act like that, that God's not going to give us the impossible. The spiritual path is a very interesting thing. It looks impossible. It looks like it just can't ever work, or that I could never put out that amount of energy or whatever. But in the end, it is possible, and we just have to try. And speaking of putting out a lot of energy, those who are completely balanced and centered, that they can put out the most energy. I saw it in Swamiji again and again, even though he was in a very old body when I spent time with him and knew him. He still was capable of putting out so much energy. But it was because he was always calm and he was always centered. And speaking of that, when I first came on the spiritual path at Ananda Village, a man told me, if you want to meditate more, serve more. And if you want to serve more, meditate more. And I thought, this guy is a little crazy. If I want to serve more, I should serve more. And if I want to meditate more, I should meditate more. What is this guy talking about? And I didn't, of course, do all that drama that I just went through. But I just graciously said, okay, thank you for the advice. But as the years went on, I realized he was spot on, that he knew exactly what he was talking about, and those were the words of wisdom, that he is a wise man, and he gained that wisdom through many years on the spiritual path. And so let's talk it through, that if you don't have the ability to meditate for 10 hours per day, well, you need to do something to try to find God. And so, as we've been talking about this evening, that something that you do is every action is towards finding God. And if you only meditate, your senses will become very, very strong. Even to the point sometimes a little sound might just drive you nuts. Or the smell of what your next door neighbor's cooking, and you just can't get that out of your head. And even, I'll tell you this, it's true, that sights become so beautiful as you meditate more. And the physical world, it becomes even more entrancing. But if you balance that with seva, then you can go even deeper in meditation. And then on the other hand, when we only serve, every human being reaches a point where we feel like, I just need a break. But if we go too far in the seva point, then that break just becomes a nap, which is okay too. But if we can stay really balanced, then our break becomes, wait, let me take 5 minutes. Let me take a mini seclusion and just come back into my own center and just meditate for a few minutes, so that I can remember that every act of seva is a way of serving God, is a way of loving God. The final point that I'm going to make here is, don't think you have to join an ashram, you have to leave your home, you have to leave your job in order to do seva. Dream up creative sevas. Think of God, ask God every moment, what can I do to serve you today? And there's always something that we can do, and you and God together will figure it out. It's been a great joy being together. I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you, Jemal. That was beautiful. So we'll again now listen to the reading, do the affirmation together, but we'll do the affirmation more number of times. We'll go the 5 phases which Jemal led us into. We'll do it thrice each time. And then we'll do the prayer. So let's listen to the reading and listen to words of Swamiji on service. Service is ennobling. It is a way of offering our human littleness into the great reality that is God. Service should not be given with the thought that one is serving people merely. It should be given with an inward consciousness to the Lord who resides in all creatures. When we serve others in this spirit, we find our own spirits becoming freed from egotism. Peace then fills us in the realization that there isn't anyone with whom we need compete. What joy to think that we belong to God. Let's affirm together, first out loud. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. One more time out loud. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. Now, in a normal voice, I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. Now, with a whisper, but having deep concentration, let's repeat in a whisper. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. Be centered in your spine, repeating, whispering, I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. Now, repeating mentally, taking it deep into our subconscious mind, but stay focused and concentrated. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. Taking this freedom up to the superconscious mind, taking the energy up at the point between the eyebrows, we'll repeat 3 times mentally with deep concentration. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. One last time, I will serve God through others, and by my service to Him, release the hold the ego has on me. I am free in God. In God, I am free. Mentally praying, all that I do, Lord, I do for love of Thee. Accept the flowers of my service to Thee as I place them on Thy altar of omnipresence. Thank you, friends, for joining us. It was a joy sharing with all of you. We look forward to connecting with you next week, same time. Have a great week ahead.